Bring it down, speak louder. Now what's my name? Stack. Eagerly leaving the scene to go and chase his dream. On a mission wishing ever since he was only 15. With sincerity, I'll never give in to the popularity. The clarity's a rarity when you're compared to me. Now where were we? Where were we? And I don't mean to be cocky, but I'm never doing this sloppy. And all that hating, it's not me. So I'm original, no copy. Can't copy my swag. I'm spitting liquid, twisting like my name was Mickey Fast. And I'm the 11th freshman on the cover, double XL. Didn't get any recognition cause I forgot how to spell. Fixed it with the quick lyricisms, now I gotta spit quick as hell. So now I'm doing it well. Ain't hard, but I bet you can tell. And I'm locking my method, that's it.
All right, so in case you didn't catch the tagline and the title, joining me today is Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Shemar "Sho Time" Bridges. Shemar finds himself signing with Baltimore following an offseason that watched them trade away Hollywood Brown and watch Sammy Watkins walk away in free agency. However, the Ravens did not address the position in the draft, and despite holding 11 selections. At 6'4", 215 pounds, you're definitely the X receiver that Baltimore kind of needs outside of Rashad Bateman. So once again, thank you so much for joining me tonight, man. I would love it if you would start with a brief introduction in your own words.
Yeah, I appreciate for having me. Like I said, my name is Shemar Bridges. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, Duval County. Out of Fort Valley State, small Division II HBCU school in Georgia. Just got picked up by the Baltimore Ravens. Couldn't be more happier, and I'm thankful, blessed to be in position. Appreciate you for bringing me on.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for answering my message and coming on. It means a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's just go ahead and hop right into it. At what age did you start playing organized football, and what inspired you to play?
I mean, as early as I could think, 4, 5, 6. As early as you probably could think of playing, I started playing flag, and then I got into tackle. And then what inspired me to play, I really think it was just natural. I think it was just something God put in me to do, man, because really, with nobody really just forced me to play, just something I always wanted to do. I was always watching it, playing the game. I just always wanted to be around it. And I just gravitated. Everything was. I knew all the players of everything, of everybody, and had, cards and souvenirs. And I was big on football. So it's just like, as I got older, I just grew in my love in it. And now I'm here. So it's a dream come true.
That's awesome. Did you always play wide receiver, or is that something you ended up growing into?
Yeah, my whole life. Receiver.
Really?
Which
nice.
is that's a lot of people change positions. I played receiver my whole life, so yeah.
Well, that's one benefit you got, that you've been playing it forever. That's awesome. Were there any NFL players you looked up to as a kid that you tried to model your game after as a wide receiver?
Yes, of course. I mean, of course, like Jerry Rice. I mean, he was kind of getting out the door when I was young, but of course him. I'm from Jacksonville, so I grew up a big Jaguars fan, so. Like Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardell and those type of guys. And just watching anybody just on TV that was just, balling. Like anybody that was just doing their thing, I was watching. I was really a fan of everybody. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Did you watch any Randy Moss when you were younger?
Oh, of course.
I was going to say, I saw 6'4", 215, and I was like, oh, man, that's Randy Moss right there.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, a bunch of Randy Moss, man. He I remember when I was young, he was bouncing around, and then he was with the Patriots, and he had that big crazy year with the Patriots. That was wild. And then even like when T.O. when the Eagles came to Jacksonville for the Super Bowl, and that was T.O. played and we was injured. I remember that vividly. Like that was crazy. So just a lot of those guys, man. I try to look up to and model my game after them. They did what they had to do to get their going, so that's what I'm trying to do the same.
Absolutely. So not to get too off track here, but did you see that Terrell Owens is actually playing again in the FCF?
Yeah, I seen that. I watched that. One of my close friends, one of my quarterbacks out of that Fort Valley State, he's playing in it. His name's Slade Jarman, and he's playing in it. So I've been kind of paying attention to him, and then by seeing T.O.'s in it, so I'm like, this is crazy.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I knew there was a connection there. I saw Slade Jarman's name, and I was like, man, where have I seen that name before? I should have known that it was in the FCF. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Does your college number 17 have any special significance to you?
Yes, for sure. So that's crazy you asked. That number 17 is it's really deep. it's a deep meaning. I had it before I came to Fort Valley. I went to another school out of high school, and I wanted number 4 because that was my high school number. And then when I got to Tusculum, 17 just kind of like found me as like my practice number, and I was wearing it a lot. I ended up liking it and I won it, but I ended up getting other numbers than the game. And then when I got to Fort Valley, I transferred there because I thought it was a better fit for myself. And pretty much they was just kind of like doing numbers off of just what was ever on the pile, just this and that. And when they picked it up, the next number that was up for me to get was 17. I'm like, dang, that's crazy. And then it just stuck with me. And then it just like became my thing. And it's just like everybody called me Sho. A lot of people call me 1717. And then I'm a real spiritual guy. So like the number 1 stands for like one God. And then the 7 stands for the day that the earth was created. So it's like 17 stands for together, like God's greatness. And so that's what I kind of like put all mine into it. Like that's God's greatness. Like, don't look at me, but what I've been blessed and highly favored to be in the position I'm in. So the 17 is a huge, huge meaning to me. I got it around my neck. So it's not like just like me is my number. It's like a whole special meaning to it. So it would be it would be amazing to have that in the NFL. Of course, I haven't earned that rank to just get what I want. I'm just going to take whatever they give me, but hopefully one day I can get it. So,
Hopefully.
yeah.
I was kind of curious about that. I know a lot of guys have an attachment to their number, but that's a pretty deeper meaning. That's awesome. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Yes, sir.
So getting into your high school career, you attended Potter's House Christian Academy, correct?
Right. Yes, sir.
Okay, so talk to me about your experience in high school. How is it attending a Christian academy different than a public school? I mean, do you believe this affected the talent pool at your school for better or worse?
So Potter's House, on the west side of Jacksonville, yeah. So it was great. I mean, I learned a lot spiritual. I learned a lot just about just life. So I think that was why I never regret my time going to Potter's. The people there they love me to death. They love all of us. They just great people. So that was most importantly, just regardless of football, it was a great thing going there. And then it was a smaller school, so it was a smaller school. It's definitely different from public school because I came from public school, and so it's different just how you go about things. It's kind of like you got your own rules, and public school is kind of like just everybody's doing whatever. But at there, it was like we was really just really like catered and just not catered, but like just taught a lot. Like we got to get more hands on because there was not as many of us talk about life, talk about things, this and that, kind of preparing us for the real world and how to keep us strong mentally and spiritually. And it was a small school, so I wasn't really highly recruited out of high school. I just had like D3 and D2 and NIAs. I had no Division One or nothing. And I just made the most of my opportunities, but I feel like I was in that position for a reason, because it just made me who I am now. And then, like I said, that school made me the person I am now. So, for sure.
Absolutely. I like the way you look at that.
Yeah.
Everything's just a stepping stone to something greater, obviously. I think you're
Right.
living proof of that at this point.
Yes, sir.
So during your high school football career, at what point did you realize that you had a real chance to play big-time college football and continue to develop as an athlete at that level?
I think probably like towards my end of my like junior year, I started like developing my first few years. Of course, I didn't really do too much. I was real young, and then my junior year I started growing because I went from like 5'7" my sophomore year till I ended my senior year of high school like 6'2", 6'3" or something like that. So I really just did a growth spurt. So when my body started changing and then I started growing to my body and understanding the game and this and that, that's when I started really like, okay, you know what I mean? I always wanted to do it, but I was like, okay, I really got a good shot. Then doing 7-on-7 stuff in the summer and different tournaments, and I'm like, okay. And then my senior year, I was like, nah, for sure. Like I'm definitely gonna go to college and play ball. I always knew I wanted to, but now I got interest from schools, and so now I know I can do it. So yeah.
That's awesome. So in your senior season, I don't know if this is just what happens to be listed or if you had
Yeah.
some dramatic turnaround, but it seemed like all of a sudden you saw a flood of academic awards while still helping your
Right.
team succeed on the field. Was there any
Yeah.
adjustments that you made to all of a sudden get all these awards?
Yeah. So I was always doing good in school, but it was just like crazy. Like around that time, I just started getting a whole bunch of academic awards. I was just getting blessed with a lot of stuff, man, and I was just thankful. I just kept doing what I had to do in the school. I graduated with honors in high school and in college. I got mom. My mom's a teacher, and then my family as a whole, they just stay on me, and our coaches and everything. That was like a big emphasis, man. So I just started gaining a whole bunch of awards and this and that at our school, and most improved this or whatnot. And I was just I don't know. I was getting blessed with a lot. So
Absolutely. I was going to say 2015 Most Approved Award,
Yeah,
2015, 2016 Best All Around Student,
yeah,
2015, 2016 Outstanding Character Award, graduated
yeah,
with honors. I mean, that's quite the accolade list for a senior season, man. That's awesome.
yeah, for sure.
So, nearing the end of high school, you, much like other athletes, had to start truly considering your future as a player, ultimately deciding where you will spend your college days in an effort to achieve your dreams of playing professional football.
Right.
Talk to me about your recruitment process and what schools were looking at you, and tell your viewers where you ended up.
So my recruiting process was tough because everything came late. Even though I started getting a bunch of smaller schools every day, just getting hit up by schools, but it was really late. Like I didn't have a team. A school hit me up for until like late in my senior year, so I didn't really like. I didn't have. I knew I was gonna always go somewhere, but I just didn't have no type of nothing going on. And so then I seen a lot of my friends signed on signing day. I didn't sign on signing day. I had to wait. And that was tough because I always dreamed on doing that. But I just had to, wait and see. And I just had a bunch of like Division 2 schools or Division 3 schools. It's hard to remember a lot of them, like in North Carolina and Tennessee, South Carolina, just small schools. And then I ended up signing to Tusculum University in Tennessee out of high school. And then I stayed there for a couple of years, and then I transferred to Fort Valley.
Nice. Okay, so leaving high school at 6'3", 190 pounds, stand to
Yeah,
reason you wanted to add some weight to absorb some of the hits you were going to take.
right.
Is that what ended up leading to your decision to redshirt?
Yeah, I was probably wasn't even 190. I probably put that on the paper. I might have been like 180, barely touching that. I wasn't like super skinny, but I definitely was slim. I wasn't really ready physically. I could play though. I was doing really good in practice, but mentally, the whole curve of coming there and learning different stuff. I had a ways to go. But I knew I had a lot of potential and upside, and a lot of people seen that. And but they redshirted me, and plus we had a lot of seniors and stuff. It was the best thing for me. I mean, if that would never happen, I would have never been able to be in this position where I had the extra year to come out of college that I did now. And so I'm thankful that that did happen. And so yeah, it was the best thing for me though, for sure at the time.
Absolutely. In 2017 for Tusculum, you got on the field for the first time. You played 4 games and caught a pass for 9 yards. During
Right.
that season, your team had an astronomical 24 wide receivers on the roster. How in the world was your team so large, and how were the coaches able to get all of you guys reps?
Oh man, it was really just like whoever's the best 8, the best 9, the best 7 around that tip. So I was within that best 7 to 8, and a lot of guys, some guys just wasn't traveling, and there was a lot of freshmen, and so you just had to be of the best group, and it is crazy now that you think about it. I didn't even remember that we had that many receivers. I knew we had a lot, but I didn't even know it was 24. We had a ton of receivers, and yeah, how we got reps was like we just kind of like grouped it up, going different ways and different doing a bunch of different stuff so people can split reps. But at the end of the day, it wasn't as many as you wanted to if you wasn't in that top group because it was just too many people. So you just kind of had to really earn them and get them to put you in there. If not, you wasn't getting too many. So yeah,
Absolutely. I saw that and I was almost flabbergasted. I was like, I mean, you see 10, 12, sometimes in high school as many as
oh man,
15, but over 20, that's insane. Like
yeah,
this,
it was a
the
ton.
fact that you even saw the field was pretty amazing at that point.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was crazy just going from all that and then going from like you said, I had one catch for 9 yards in my 2 seasons there. So I mean, yeah, it was a lot.
Absolutely. So I assume that's what caused the overall lack of playing time. Is just the stupendous
Yeah,
amount of people that were there.
yeah, that and I just just kind of like just didn't fit in the system, just didn't fit in what was going on. And then we was doing a lot of 12, 13 personnel. So a lot of times it was hard to get all the receivers out. We wasn't really spreading the field out like that. So it was just how the offense was ran. Got a bunch of good players. I mean, I definitely was a guy that was good enough to play, but just how the system was, and I was young, and it was just a lot of things that was just like kind of pushing me out the door. And it worked out in a good way. That was God's way of like, hey, all this, you need to go to a different situation, including how the offense system was, because at the time, even if I would have stayed there and and been the top guy, we wasn't throwing the ball like that. And it was like, man, regardless, I probably would have to transfer anyway if I wanted to get some type of, film or try to show what I can do. Because I mean, like we wasn't barely getting any type of yards. So yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, like to hear they're running a lot of 12 and 13 personnel with 24 wide receivers on the roster.
Yeah, man. It was different. It was a different time, man. I'm happy I went through it. It's a lot of stuff I learned, and I'm happy I was smart enough and I was confident enough, and I had another man in me to be like, you know what, I need to change. I need to do something different. I believe in me, and that's why I'm here talking to you now. It's just a blessing, man. So yeah.
Absolutely. So I mean, you quickly proved that it was a good decision to move on to Fort Valley
Yeah.
State. I mean, in 2019, I think you caught 51 passes for 765 yards and 4 touchdowns, another 5 yards rushing, and you posted 14 more receptions than the second dude on the team. I mean, if you're gonna
Yeah.
burst on the scene, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah. Shoot, I went from 1 catch for 9 yards to I had like 70-some yards, 7 catches and a touchdown in my first game. And then every week was just like proving to myself that I can keep doing this. And then I'll do it again. And I had 120. Then I had this and that. So I was like, man, like it was crazy. And that was my coming out right there. Just like get me out there. That was my coming out. Like, okay, this guy, And I just burst on the scene, got all confidence. I was just like, right there was a dream come true, just because I always wanted to do good in college. And I really found my breakthrough. And then I had a whole student body in college and everybody supporting me how they were. It was amazing, man. Still to this day, it's amazing.
Absolutely. I was going to say the first place I saw the news that you had signed was from your school.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. They were like promoting it for you. That was awesome.
Right.
So
Right.
we talked about it earlier. When you got to Fort Valley State, you were with Slade Jarman. And in your first year, DeMonte Jones also played quite a bit.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the difference in these two quarterbacks and how you had to adjust as a receiver to kind of deal with them both getting a lot of playing time.
Yeah, so Slade's a left-handed guy. He played most of the year, and then he ended up again player of the year and all that. But he had a great season, player of the year, offensive player of the year. He killed it the whole year, and but he ended up getting injured towards the end of the year. And he's a left-handed guy. When you've been kind of with him and practicing with him and doing this and that with him, what I mean, it made it tough. And because DeMonte, what we call him money, he's a really good quarterback himself. It's just natural when you've been practicing with the same person, getting reps with the same person, then you get thrown into the fire with it was hard to kind of get that chemistry down. And so we had some good times where we made some good connections. Like I think the first game he came started, I had the most yards I had all year, like 129 or 100 something against Savannah State. And but it was just hard for us as far as winning. It was like, we had to get all our chemistry down, and it was just tough. But he definitely was a really good quarterback. But Money is a right-handed guy, and Slade is a left-handed guy. So it was some challenges, but I mean, I feel like with DeMonte, if him, starting it, like say if he would have played earlier for some reason and we would have got all those same reps, he would have been very successful as well. You know what I mean? But like I just feel like it was tough. It was tough, but I'm happy to see Slade. Man, that's my boy. That's one of my good friends. And I got to play with him his last year, and you see now he's in that league and he's doing his thing. He's killing it. They love him, and he's doing his thing. He had a great senior end of year, and he broke his leg, and now he's back playing ball and doing what he's doing. And he's showing that what he did in college wasn't a fluke. Like he's a really good player, and I hope he keeps getting more and more opportunities and stuff. So it was good playing with both of them because we had really good quarterbacks, and both of them were good quarterbacks. I think it was just tough timing and just how everything went. It was tough because we didn't finish the season how we wanted to, but it was a lot of other things going on. It was tough just to put it together like that from somebody just getting injured and then boom, we got to kind of just it's football, man. So yeah.
Absolutely. Do you care to elaborate on the other things that were going on, or?
Oh, nah, just as far as just like chemistry, as far as just like when you losing a guy that's one of your top leaders, it was hard. It was just we felt bad for him. It was like morale. It was kind of like sucked. Like what I mean, just like you see him, he came from just being energetic and then comes to practice in a wheelchair. What I mean, it was just like it brought the team down. It was tough, but we had to get right back ready to play two of the toughest teams in our conference at the end of the year. So it was just hard. We was already I feel like it was a couple other guys that was hurt and it wasn't tough, but we was together though. We was tight, we was cool, and I got love for all those players and all those coaches. You know what I mean? It was just like a tough timing of how everything happened, and it just I think we got caught at the right time for those other teams. Like I feel like we was because we when we came to that game, we won 6 in a row, and then when he got injured, it was just like a whole like dang, you know. It happens though, but I think both of those guys are really good quarterbacks, good people. Both of them I'm really close with still to this day, and I cherish those relationships.
Where is DeMonte playing at this point?
So he's been lately playing this arena league out there somewhere in Georgia. I don't remember the team name, but he wasn't playing for a minute, but now he just got back into playing a little bit, and so he's out there doing his thing. I don't know how many games and stuff he's got left. I haven't talked to him recently about that, but he's been doing that, and so man, it's been cool just seeing him doing that, and seeing them both still playing, and just at least
Right.
just playing or doing something. So yeah,
Absolutely. I'll have to look in to see where he's playing. I was
oh yeah,
curious. In 2019, you immediately burst onto the scene, like we talked about 51
hmm
receptions, 765, 4 touchdowns. And you immediately staked your claim as the number one receiver. How did you manage
right,
to pick up the playbook so quick and develop such a rapport with the passers in such a short amount
yeah.
of time?
It was just effort, just coming in there, putting in the effort, putting in the all the hours, and just wanting it. You know, I had a chip on my shoulder coming from my last school, and I knew what I was capable of, and I had, just came in there and just did what I had to do. And then on top of that, it kind of worked out in my favor just because of when I came in the spring, we had a new OC that came in as well. So it wasn't just me; it was all of us getting used to the new playbook. So now it's kind of like fair share. So now it wasn't like me coming to something they already knew. It's like it's whoever. Now we all starting at the starting line at the same time. And I was always fully dedicated and wanting it. And I knew, nah, this is my time, and I'm gonna go and get it mentally down. And when with having my stepfather playing in the NFL, he has and bounced around. I have a really good person in my corner that's taught me everything I need to know. So my mental capacity and learning stuff and knowing stuff is definitely, I feel like, is higher than other people at that time, including because of they might not have those people in their corner helping them with this and that. Whereas since I've had that since I was a kid, and so that's helped me get to this point with everybody being at that high, what I mean, thinking. So now it's kind of like it's definitely a cheat code for me. And shoot, I just came out with the mindset I'm gonna work and learn. So
Absolutely. So, I
yeah,
mean, you mentioned before your stepfather's a former NFL, CFL player. Your mother's a
yeah,
teacher.
oh
Do you
yeah.
consider football IQ and studying playbooks as one of your strong suits as a player?
Yeah, I definitely think I think it's because I love the game. I just love football. I'm like a geek. I'm just all in about it. I just always know about this and that, or where this guy went to school or this. I've always been that since I was like young. I'm just like all in, but I'm just a football head. Like when I get done playing, hopefully, God willing, after a long career, I feel like I'm a coach or I'm gonna do something. I'm just always gonna be around it, and I think that's what's helped me because I feel like a lot of people are smart, but it's the want to, it's the effort. It's the willing to, and I'm willing to do all those things. And I feel like a lot of that's what goes into learning and understanding and this and that and terminology. And so I think that's what's going to help me, and that's what has helped me. And I feel like Will is just wanted to do it, and because I love to do this. I don't just play for, I just really like playing football. So
Absolutely. On that note, that has Baltimore already sent you a playbook, or do you get that day one when you report?
nah, I haven't gotten it, not gotten it yet. So we'll be getting it soon.
Gotcha. I was just curious because I know everything's digital now. So, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, you never know. They might just email it to you or something. That's
right,
kind of cool.
right.
But
Yeah, I think they probably keep away from doing that just because they don't want to get spread out and stuff. So
that's true.
yeah.
Definitely understand that. So, how do you approach film study of an opposing defense? Like, are you strictly looking at defensive backs that are lined up against wide receivers,
Mhm,
or are you looking at the way the linebackers key? Are you looking at the
mhm.
defensive line, or
Yeah. I'm looking at the whole defense. Of course, the DBs or the corner. Just look at their tendencies and looking at what they do in this coverage or what they do in this. If they're physical, if they're aggressive, if they're passive, if they they like to press with their feet, or just whatever may make them mad, whatever just their energy, everything about them. And what are their keys? How they hint to different coverages. But also, I'm definitely looking at the safeties because the corners will lie, but the safeties will tell you. You know what I'm saying? What your coverage is going to be, and so you got to look at the safety. You got to see what they're going to do, and just how they play and stuff, and you know their tools and their keys and how they either roll to a coverage or whatnot. And you know, of course, you look at your backers and see how the guys putting hands on, you know, whoever's coming across them or whatnot. So you look at the whole defense, but definitely looking at those DBs because that's going to be the guys I'm going against the most.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing the tips and stuff what they give you, man. I feel like once you can learn the defense and learn what they're trying to do, it's like now it's just like just going out there and playing chess. The game's way more mental than it is physical. So
absolutely. Absolutely. I like how you put that, though. The game is a lot more mental than it is
Right.
physical. A lot of people don't really think about that. You know, they see football players, big dudes in pads, and they're like, oh, they're just beating the crap out of each other. No, they're not. There's so
really
much
smart
strategy.
Yeah, they're very smart guys. That's what people don't understand. A lot of these athletes and stuff are really, really intelligent people as well. And you got to be, you know, so.
100%. So on that note, we've talked multiple times so far already about how amazing your junior season was, 2019. So I wanted to go ahead and play a highlight clip. I'm going to go ahead and tell you ahead of time. It's probably going to mute your mic, but you can unmute it.
Okay.
We'll just talk over it, but have it kind of playing because this is definitely stuff people are going to want to see for sure.
I wanted to make sure you were at your best so you understood where I was at my game at the time to where I know you coming and I'm still going to beat you.
Yeah. We in the championship. We was down 3-1.
Beat that.
Yeah. Philly. Champions of the United States. Yeah. Turn me up, Cruz. Bombing on any of them that want to smoke. This a big boy phantom, this ain't a ghost. Had to take away from them and then they toast. They ain't had no sympathy for me when I was broke. Amen, amen. Lord forgive me for all my sins. Took so many risks just to get a Benz. Pray for my nigga, all my friends. In the trenches, one with killers, we been getting it in. 32 shots in my new Glock. Niggas wanna hit me like I'm Tupac.
Caught by Bridges, touchdown, Fort Valley State.
Remember when I spent my re-up on a crop quote? Your favorite rapper, a mumble rapper. Walk up in this a bunch of killers and humble trappers. I can go to Hollywood to core in this jungle action. When that smoke, you go and murder your
Shemar Bridges just bosses two defenders. That's a first down.
Big dog. Streets say they need that dope, they having withdrawals. I put on my yellow diamonds when I'm pissed off. I'm so rich that I can't even draw. Whoa. Do you know the feeling? Being agitated cause you got a can of million. All this money, I ain't got no time for chilling. We took risks till it like this, do all that killing and drug dealing. You my God, what you we on
first down off the sideline. Bridges continues his strong play.
Big bad whip, we
Another catch out of the 45-yard line.
I heard Drop Daddy was a rat, so you a
All right, as much as I'd like to let that play all night, man, that was an awesome video. You can catch it on his YouTube channel. That's Sho Time, correct?
Yeah. So it's something like that. Sho Time 17, something like that. Exactly. Or you just type my name in, Shemar Bridges, it'll pop up.
Absolutely. That's exactly how I found it. So, it definitely was worth watching. I watched the whole video earlier, but like I said, I put it in the wrong spot. We won't go over that, but basically, long story short, we're not allowed to talk over it with the way I put it on here at the moment. So I'll have to adjust that with the other videos as we go. We got a comment real quick for you. He says, "You're a Wildcat." He loves it.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know. Yeah. They must be Wildcat. Love. He must be from Fort Valley or something. I can't tell by the name, but yeah, for sure. If he that is a Fort Valley alum, whatnot, then go Wildcats.
Absolutely. If you caught that, Big A, let us know how you know about the Wildcats. So coming out of 2019, just before your birthday that year, actually, is when COVID-19 began to take over the world and affected college seasons everywhere. When we started hearing about the virus, did you ever expect it to affect your college season? Talk to me about how you felt when you found out 2020 was supposed to be your redshirt senior season.
Yeah. None of us thought it was gonna be like that. We just thought it was gonna be there's a virus and this and that, and then it turned from we're just gonna take a couple of days off from school and we're gonna suspend school for a little bit, and then we're gonna spend it for a month, and then the whole year, and then the rest of the year, and then no more spring. And now I was getting word that we might not have a season, and I was like, wow. Oh yeah, he's from Fort Valley. Okay, that's cool. Yep. Okay, so and it just went from one thing to another. It just got worse and worse, and I just remember it like yesterday. It's so crazy because it's so far away, but it wasn't. It's still close. Like it's still. I remember just the how painful it was knowing like you wasn't gonna have a fall year and season. We didn't know we was gonna play in the spring, and it was just so much uncertainty, including because I was just starting to hear from teams and I was just starting to get my breakthrough. I was just starting to. Okay, I done went through all this and ups and downs, and now I'm touch success, and I'm starting to get NFL teams to start hitting my coaches up, and now it's this happened. And it's like, dang, like it was tough, and I bottled it up and I just worked. Yeah,
Absolutely. So your school kind of reacted. A lot of schools did it a lot of different ways. Let's put it that way
yeah,
first. But
yeah.
your school reacted one of the ways that was kind of more popular. They pushed their games off to the spring. Unfortunately, you guys only got to play 2 games, but I really
Right.
wanted to highlight this because in those 2 games, you had 13 receptions for 301 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, you dominated. I mean, the nearest guy on your team, I think, had 7 receptions. So that just goes to show you, like, your quarterbacks were looking at you every
Yeah.
single play, basically. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't even have the target numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy because we had that. That's by that time we had got a new head coach, and he was the OC, and he came in after right before the COVID happened, right in 2020, and he of course knew about me and everything wanted to surround the offense around me. But then when he seen the type of person I was off the field and how I worked, he just fell in love with me, and we just worked. And then when we got to the spring, like I said, teams were starting to hit up this and that, and they just wanted to see me dominate. And I came that first game against Short, I had like 158 yards or something, and I had like a bunch of it in the first half, and it was just like boom, the whole thing was just like, give me the ball early, and I just took advantage of it, and I'm extremely thankful for Coach Flowers and Coach Wade and Coach Hurst, all the rest of the coaches. I'm really thankful for them, and even Coach Porter and Coach Blevins, and that was there before them. Everybody believed me when they came in there, and I earned that as well. So, yeah, I just dominated, and that helped me a lot to get even more looks. So,
Absolutely. So
yeah.
again, I'm going to try and play your spring highlights here. So
Oh yeah.
hopefully we can make this work without having to shut off our mics the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite plays.
I can see why. Dang.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite plays. Definitely,
It's
it was
just
just
showcasing your abilities right there.
yeah, that was just showing, I think, just athleticism right there. Just showing that I can be big and move. And then this was the first play of the game, of the first spring game that we had. So this was the first play, of our first game that we've had since 2019. So it was so many emotions. We've been through a lot, and then the first play to do that was crazy. And yeah, this
That's
was
awesome.
like second quarter, hitch
That's
route. Yeah, it was crazy. And
so like you just said, this is almost basically it's been a little over a year since you played games basically at this point. So I mean, was
Yeah.
this all pent up energy from the season going
Oh,
around
yeah.
due to COVID, or I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Definitely, I felt like how I was feeling and all the work I had put in, and all the stuff that just was going through all of us. It was just like, whoever was up to play next just was going. We was going to give it to him. I was like, man, I got to go out here and just dominate anybody that's in front of me. And yeah, that's what it was about. Like I put in a lot of work because from during that COVID time, we didn't have no summer stuff or nothing. So I was just in Jacksonville, just training and grinding for months. That's a long time. I've been home in a while, and with a bunch of NFL guys, a bunch of guys in the city that's made to leagues and stuff, and guys that's older than me. So going against those guys this whole time, when I got back to college, it was just like I was a whole different person because I've been going against pros, and I just sprung into college, and my jump from my junior year to spring and the senior year was a whole different player in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, in multiple ways. I mean, I think even body type wise at that point, you had gained the 20 pounds by then, right?
Yeah, I had gained a bunch of weight. I got stronger. Just in the jersey, how I look, my explosiveness, I just felt like at my junior year I was just playing. I was out there playing, like as far as I was just going. I was just young. Well, I was playing like just playing ball, and because it was my first time really starting, it was the first time having a whole year of success. And then when I got back out there, it was just like I was just like, nah, this is what I'm supposed to do. I just felt more calculated with everything I did, and it was more of a sense of like, now I know I'm supposed to dominate everybody, and that's it. Just looked different.
It definitely did. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it was fun to watch. That's for sure. I'm
yeah,
gonna
I
go ahead and
appreciate
let
it.
this play out. There's only a couple more seconds with it, but still, it's impressive to watch you play, man. Like I said, the announcer said it in the first highlight video. You remind me a lot of Randy Moss, and I mean, like body type wise, you're almost
Yeah,
identical to his size that he played at throughout the
right.
NFL career. I mean, you can leap like he did. You can high point the ball over defenders. Like it's not even comparable. So I mean,
Yeah.
I
Oh yeah,
definitely
I
see the
appreciate it.
comparisons.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That's high regard, man. I appreciate that. That's a great right there. So to be even, I mean, that means a lot.
Well,
Definitely.
hey, you earned it, man. I'm just watching the tape and making
Yeah,
observations here. So,
yeah, for sure.
so unfortunately, despite all the highs that you had during Fort Valley State
Yeah.
in 2021, you only ended up playing in 4 games. I assume this was
hmm
due to injury.
Yeah, yeah. I got a little injury to my knee. So yeah. So it
When
was
exactly was that, and what was the injury, if you don't mind saying?
yeah. So it was so I had it was week 3. So I went off a good week 1 on ESPN, and I played FAMU, and I showed I can do it. And in this game, I had 100 yards, and at the end of the game, on the last drive of the game to try to win the game, I caught the drag, and a guy just fell on my knee, and I had messed up my MCL. No surgery, nothing like that. I had to sit out for some weeks, and that was tough, man, because I was on my way to go get 1,000 yards. I was finna go and kill everything. I was on my way to being the top in Division II, and just one of the top. Like I was showing everything, all the hype, everything I was starting to get. I was just proving it. So when that happened, that was tough, and that was just another situation. I just had to live off faith, man, and just trust everything. That was trust God, man. And then as some weeks went on, I just had to rest it and rehab. I came back week 8, in the mix of everything where we still have a chance to go win it all. And during the end of the first half, I caught a tunnel screen. I kind of got twisted up wrong. And so it just didn't feel good. And my whole motto, because some people telling me to sit out for the rest of the year. Like I already had a bunch of, stock and hype. And it was like, hey, man, just get the training and stuff and go and, get ready for the league. And for me, I just felt like I had so much more to give. And I put a lot, and I wanted to go win this thing. And I just didn't want to just go out on my guys like that. I know I had a lot to risk, but I was just like, I didn't want to go out like that. I just didn't feel like it was right. I was like, I'm going to still just give it a try. I'm going to go. And it was on homecoming. It was just big. And I went out there, and once I felt it, I was like, I can't. I just got to now. I gave it a shot, but I would think about everybody. I had to think about me this time, and I just had to just sit it out. So I played. It says 4, but in my eyes, it was 3.5. You know what I mean? So it was tough. And I decided the last 2 games, and the numbers I put up in those little amount of games was very consistent. But it's something that's tough. It hurts. But it's cool. It built. All these things built me for what I'm trying to do right now. So
Well, I mean, you said it best. That season, you were off to a hot start. I mean, despite
yeah,
playing in just 3.5 games, you finished second on the team in receptions and third in yards, with the 2 players above you playing in 10 and 9 games respectively. So, I mean,
yeah,
you definitely were again on your way to a dominant season.
oh yeah,
Once again, this just kind of showed how big of a part of the passing game you were in your time there. You collected
yeah,
28 receptions, 292 yards, and 1 touchdown, an average of about 7 receptions per game. So very
yeah,
consistent. I think your first season there, you had 4 games of 7 receptions, and then this last season, you had an average of 7 receptions per game.
yeah,
So that's pretty impressive.
yeah,
Um, it seems
yeah,
you found quite the connection with the quarterback Tyrell Jackson.
yeah.
How do you, as a wide receiver, go about trying to form chemistry with each quarterback? I mean, you've had multiple different quarterbacks throughout your college
Mhm.
career. You're now on to a new quarterback in Baltimore.
Right.
Um,
It's just about. I feel like it's off the field, just having a good relationship with him. Just being a friend, being your boy. Like Demonte, that was my roommate. Slade, that was one of my just really, really good friends. He's from Florida. That's one of my really close friends. And then Tyrell, he lived right under me. But that was like he's younger than me, so that's like my little brother. And that's like we really tight. I'm probably closer to him than the other two guys. And we just play around, and it's like a big brother, little brother like relationship. And all these guys, all these quarterbacks, all my teammates are my close friends. Everybody that I'm really close friends with, I played football with them prior or something like that. So it just goes from off the field and just having that relationship with just doing all of like regular friend stuff that you would that doesn't regard football. So when you're doing all that stuff and that's your boy and you got his back in real life, when you get to the field, everything else is just going to work it's going to just click on its own because that's your boy. Like, y'all locked in. And that's one thing about football, man. It brings people together and from all types of cultures and races and backgrounds and all that. It brings everybody into one team to play together, and that's what I love about it. And so it's all about, I feel like, just developing that relationship off the field.
Absolutely. So I noticed that you actually majored in sports management during college. So, and you had said in another interview that coaching is definitely in your future to some extent.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
I mean, football is like a lifelong passion for you, right? After football playing career, you're going straight to coaching. What's the ultimate goal as a coach?
I think to influence as many kids and touch as many of them and be a good role model and positive influence in their life as you can. You know what I mean? I just feel like at that point, after I get done playing and hopefully after a long, great career, and at this point, I just want to see more of those, kids just get those shots. I know how it was to be that guy that wasn't highly recruited or didn't have this and that, and I've worked to get into this position I'm in, and so I just want to see more stories like that, and then even the ones that do have all the hype to be able to be that voice in that ear to be like, hey, just humble it down a little bit, or this and that. Just give them that advice. Everybody needs somebody to be in their corner. So I think that would be the main thing, and just whatever my purpose is on earth, and just be able to help them. And then just of course I want to win, and that's all cool. But I just think being a coach I never thought about just winning games, and I want to be the best coach. Like, of course, you're gonna be competitive, you want to win, but I feel like I want to get into it just because I want to be around the youth. I want to be around football still, and I want to be able to be somebody that, that can help them along their journey to be like, dang, without Coach Shemar, whatever, that I would have, who knows where I'd be at, and just being a positive impact, So, yeah.
That's awesome. So we're finally to the part of the evening that everybody probably wants to hear about, your professional career.
Right.
This is where you finally get your first shot to play professional football after 6 years of college football and a couple setbacks here and there. You unfortunately were stuck with the small school bias. You didn't get selected in the draft, but you almost immediately were contacted by Baltimore, correct?
Right.
How quickly after the draft did they call you?
They was during draft. So
really,
during the week they was always really aggressive, and always a team that me and my agent was looking at. They always showed love and was really like me a lot. I already knew they was gonna come into the fold. That it was gonna be definitely a very strong possibility that was gonna be somewhere I'd end up. And then during the draft, they definitely was hit. Me and my agent talked about it, and we already knew was going on. And then they even hit me up during the draft, like, "Hey, we're out of draft picks, but we want you." And then I didn't, of course, we were trying to see if I would get drafted. Didn't get drafted, and we knew that was going to be the spot. So we already knew about that. Like I knew going into the week that like the Ravens are definitely playing. They want to bring me in and give me a shot. And so just to have an NFL team, regardless, those different teams calling, throughout the week and this stuff, but just have a team that is interested and wants to come bring you in. And through my whole journey and and being coming from a small school, it's just an amazing thing regardless, and that's cool, man. It feels good. So
absolutely. So I mean, you said you knew that going into the draft. So how did you react when you saw Hollywood Brown was traded to Arizona?
Man, that was crazy. Like I didn't expect that at all. That was wild. I didn't see that coming, and it's just like it's business. But I seen that, and I was like, well, that was one of a big time players, a really good player, and it's just like, well, that maybe, just opens up even more opportunity for myself to come in and try to make a name for myself. So I thought about that, and I was like, well, that it could be even more open in the receiver room, and I just got to come there and compete. And they're like me, they're bringing in other undrafted, really good free agent receiver players as well. And so we all just got to go in there and we all can compete. And just whoever comes out of it comes out of it. But I definitely seen that. That definitely played a part. Like, wow, okay, that that definitely, you look at that going into a situation. You want to go into the best fit, the best situation that you have to be successful. And so I seen that and I was like, okay, that's interesting. So.
Absolutely. Were there any other teams that contacted you during the draft, after the draft?
Yeah, I had heard from the Bucks about a rookie minicamp invite. I've heard from I've gotten calls from like other teams like Jets and Dolphins during the week. Chargers was always a team we thought about. Because I sat down with one of the scouts there, so it was different teams, but it was kind of like crazy. Just the Ravens was like different. People was hitting me up from the Ravens, and I was like, yeah, man, like, they definitely would like to have me in. And it just was like when my stepdad going there too, it was just like a crazy, like meant to be type of thing. Like I was like, wow, like of all 32 teams, so I was like,
Exactly.
this is probably what's gonna happen. Like you just got that feeling. Like I had that feeling going to it. Like I had that feeling like this is probably what it's gonna be, and it ended up that's what it was. So.
That's awesome. So as you just prefaced, I was going to bring that up next anyway. I stumbled across that connection reading another interview that you had done with another, I believe it was NFL Blitz. Yeah, NFL Draft
Yeah.
Blitz. So they said your stepfather, Damian Swain, who attended Alabama State and actually spent some time in Baltimore with the Ravens as well. I mean, what does it mean to land with the same team your stepdad played for? I mean, you pointed out how valuable he was to you in 2020 when you were working out, and didn't
Right.
have anybody else there. So, I mean, it's got to be, just describe the feeling to me.
It's an unexplainable feeling. It's unbelievable. It's creepy. It's weird. It's just wild. Like it's just all written. Like it's just all meant to be. Like it's just of all 32 teams, and then for somebody that's been training me my whole life, that's been a father figure my whole life, just very important person to me my whole life. Someone I'm very, very, very extremely close with, and just being in that situation, like he's been talking to me about the Ravens and his thing and what he went through with his whole life, and he's like, dang, I want to get there, like where he is. Like that's somebody I've always looked to and wanted to be like, and then to just be in the same position and go to the same team and be able to, kind of like go from he went from an HBCU and I did too. And it's like, I'm just taking his whole journey 20 years later. Like, it's just wild. It's crazy. And it's just like, it was a wild feeling. And, a lot of people was emotional. He was real emotional. He doesn't even get like that at all. Like if anybody knows him, like he is not an emotional person at all. So that was just like an amazing, like freaky type thing. And it's cool, man. Hopefully I can just, keep it going and stick with them and, and get blessed to play with them even longer and just, just try to carry it out, be the next one, stick it out. So.
Absolutely. I wonder if anybody in Baltimore knew about that connection when they contacted you.
I had told one of the scouts there, and I don't think he knew. I know I've put it in a lot of different things that I've done, like interviews and write-ups and stuff, but I'm not sure if they knew. But I know one of the head guys, he had taught me, and I mentioned to him that he was there, and he was like, "Wow, that's crazy." So I think it'll probably pop up. It'll come up later on. I know if anything, if it does come up, it'll probably be a good story that somebody might write about or say something, because it is kind of crazy 20 years later. Like I'm in the same exact position. So yeah, so we'll see.
Absolutely. I don't know right off the top of my head, but I think Eric DaCosta, the GM, might have been there 20 years ago. I'm not positive.
Yeah.
I know he's been in Baltimore for a while, but
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember exactly how long.
Yeah, if he's been there, that would be crazy.
That would be so crazy. So who was your favorite NFL team as a kid? Was it Jacksonville growing up in Florida? Was it Baltimore?
Nah, Jaguars all the way. Definitely grew up a huge Jaguars fan, and went to a bunch of games and just watched them every Sunday and just I went to a ton of games and this and that. So yeah, it was definitely a big Jaguars fan.
So how tempting was it to sign with Tampa Bay then with Byron Leftwich there?
It was. I wouldn't. I think I wouldn't have thought about it until I would have really did it. But I think my whole mindset was already like Ravens. I was already like, and so I really wasn't even thinking about it. I thought when I seen them hit me up about the rookie minicamp, I was like, wow, Florida, Tom Brady, Tampa, that's crazy. Just to even think about that, that's crazy. Like, but I was like, I was already locked in. Like, this the Ravens. This is a good situation. I feel like I feel like this is meant where I'm supposed to be at, and we're gonna see how everything's gonna go. But I was like, nah, this is. I really wasn't thinking about it then.
That's crazy.
But that is crazy. Byron Leftwich, though. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So Brittany Bridges wanted to pop on and say that night was amazing. Show is going to do
Yeah.
amazing in Baltimore.
Yeah. That's my sister.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah, that's
thanks
my
for
sister.
checking
My
out
big sister.
the interview, Brittany. We appreciate it. Or I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I understand, as we kind of mentioned, your stepfather also played in the CFL for a while with the BC Lions. Do you follow
Yeah.
the Canadian Football League at all?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I have friends that's played. So I definitely follow it, and I definitely pay attention. It's really good football, really fun to watch. So I've definitely paid attention since I was young. That's why I knew I was always really super into football, because like I was in middle school, like watching CFL. Like, there's not a lot of middle schoolers that's just watching CFL. They're watching NFL, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's over the summer, ends late, and I'm got CFL on TV. Like, so I already knew about it. Now I'm thinking about it, I was like, yeah, this is like, I'm really, really into it, because I was just finding anything to watch. Middle school, I was watching arena football. Like, I was just into anything that was on TV that had something to do with football. I was watching it. So yeah.
Man, you and I, two peas, man, two peas.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you a specific question. You may not even have caught this yet, so feel free to blow it off if you don't know the answer. But tonight was the CFL draft. It's probably still
Yeah.
going on right now. A guy who actually also got a rookie mini camp invite, Trey Ford, was selected 8th overall. He's actually supposed to go to camp with you in Baltimore. What do you make of that pick?
Oh, well, I didn't even know. That's crazy. Well, shoot. I don't know how that's gonna work out. I don't know how that's gonna go. I don't even know how that happens. But that's
Yeah,
crazy. That's
absolutely.
crazy. But I mean, I would say it's a blessing to him, because he's in a situation with abundant opportunity. You know what I
Yes, he
mean?
is.
He can go to Ravens, and hopefully I pray that works out for him. And if not, he's got the CFL situation. So I think, if anything, it does look like, wow, but he's in a great opportunity. So
Yes, he is.
he's gonna be playing football for sure somewhere.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome to see.
I personally, I mean, I'm a little biased. I had him on the channel a while back, but I would like to see him in Baltimore, only because he's like almost spitting athletic ability to Lamar
Yeah.
Jackson. So you guys
Yeah.
you would be stacked at quarterback, stacked at
Yeah.
wide receiver. It'd be fun to watch. Be a
Oh
lot
yeah,
of
for
fun to
sure.
watch.
Yeah, I would love to see that, man. That would be cool, man, to see him there. But like I said, whatever happens, man. Like I root for everybody, even if I don't know him. Like, I just root for people, man. I like to see the people be successful. So, but I would definitely love to see him in Baltimore. That would be great. So hopefully that
Absolutely.
does work out.
Well, even if not, they got a couple good quarterbacks. Lamar Jackson, Tyler
Oh yeah,
Huntley,
man.
those are legit QBs for sure.
Oh yeah, man.
So
Definitely.
speaking of former quarterbacks, actually, your new wide receiver coach is T. Martin, a former actual NFL and CFL quarterback. He's helped produce guys like Juju Smith-Schuster, Nelson Aguilar, Robert Woods, and Randall Cobb. I mean, how excited are you to work with T. Martin in Baltimore?
Super excited. Super excited. He hit me up. He called me during the week before during the draft, and so I had a scout. When different guys were talking to me, and then they told me about Coach Martin, and then he called me, and I was like, wow, that's how I knew the interest is real. He would let me know, like, yeah, no, the interest is real, and I've developed a lot of guys and this and that, and he was just showing love to my game, and that was cool to me. You know what I mean? A lot of people that got signed with, they come from a lot of big FBS to Power 5 schools. I'm the one small school guy, and it's like, to be in this situation is a blessing, man. It doesn't happen that as often, and just get compliments on your game from somebody that's been around the game for so long is a cool thing. And he just talked about just developing, being able to have the opportunity to develop me, and just having a good shot in Baltimore. So that's cool. I'm really excited to really meet him in person and really get to work with him. He has a really great track record, and I'm excited to learn from that, because I mean, you see all these guys he developed are top receivers, are big names in the league. So I mean, why he can't do that with with me? So I'm excited to see that.
Well, it's actually kind of funny that you mention it. I'm going to bring up the Ravens depth chart real quick. There's a very specific reason why I want to talk about this. So here we can see your name right there. Basically,
Yeah.
you see 6 players above you, all of which played last season with the Baltimore Ravens. But if you can
Right.
see on the screen, not a single receiver has been on the team past 2020. And T. Martin joined the Baltimore Ravens in 2021. So you
Mm.
spoke about in college being on an even playing field with everybody at the wide receiver position because of the new offensive coordinator. In
Right.
theory, you're walking into a wide receiver room where you're more or less on an even playing field with everybody except for maybe, Bateman and Devin Duvernay and James Prochet that have some,
Mhm.
and Tylan Wallace. So I mean,
Yeah.
really, realistically, there's a lot of people in that room. Again, there's 8 people, including you, not counting those 4 guys I just listed, but
Mhm.
they were all previously undrafted free agents, just like yourself.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, you really have the world is your oyster at the moment in Baltimore, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, yeah, it's it fell into a great opportunity. But like I said, it's a lot of really good receivers in that room that
Yes.
I came in as an undrafted free agent with. I mean, those guys, I've seen those guys, I've heard of them. I've looked, they really good players, man. So, and then the guy that's in there that room already, Wallace and Bateman and Duvernay, like all these are really good players as well. So I'm just gonna come in there, man, be a sponge, learn. They've been in there before me, and just learn from Coach Martin and everybody from that's there. And so regardless, I know a lot of people say, "Well, dang, there's nobody this and that," and boom, boom, boom. But nah, there's some good players in there. It's just some people maybe that got to prove themselves, and that doesn't mean that they won't. So I'm happy, I'm thankful just to be in this room, and yeah, like you said, just take the opportunity and try to run with it, and just do the best I possibly can to help the team.
Absolutely. So it might be hard. Well, I'll just go ahead and talk about it rather than trying to show it on the depth chart. But
Yeah,
one of the things that I noticed that was a big deal about Baltimore prior to you signing there is Baltimore almost every year has an undrafted free agent, if not more than one, make the active roster because of the
right.
fact that they are so dedicated to their scouting department and they take it very seriously. And they've had a
Yeah.
lot of very high profile scouts come out of that department. So I
Mhm.
think it speaks volumes to your ability as a player that they were looking at you and, like you said, all these
Mhm.
other guys. They go very, very deep in their research of players. So for you to
Yeah.
be there, they definitely saw some traits in you that they believe you can succeed at the NFL level. I
Oh
think that
yeah.
speaks volumes.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, for sure, for sure. That was one of the things they said, just about the hard nose, hard work mentality they have. That's what they seen in me and how I practiced and what I did at the bowl game I played in. And like you said, they said I fit into their mold, and so that's a compliment, man. I take those things. I'm thankful for it. Like you said, they're Baltimore is a great organization. They're deep, and they're very careful who they bring into their organization because of their culture and what they have. So to be able to have something be and considered in that and brought in and to be given an opportunity is I'm thankful for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So obviously, guys like yourself are often left to make them a name for themselves on special teams early on.
Right.
How comfortable are you playing special teams, whether it is as a gunner or as a return man?
Oh, very, very comfortable. I'm very good thing I did a lot of gunner wing and a lot of different things. Ending my like during the spring in my senior year. So I got to get that I guess repetition. I got to get that practice on it. I got those reps, so I understand the different things. So I'm very comfortable and I'm very willing to do all those things on special teams, whatever it takes for them to keep me around. That's what I'm gonna do. And I'm a big body, so I know I'll be put in to probably do some dirty work, and that's just what it is. That's what comes with the job and the business. So I'm willing to do that, and I know that's my way of getting my foot in the door, man. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, and I know that's coming, and I got my mindset on that. So
Absolutely. So we got a couple fan comments for some Ravens fans. They said, "Welcome to the
uh,
flock, Shemar," and he
appreciate it.
said, "We are going to love you, bro. Just come into the bank, ready to put in work and get with Lamar as much as possible," which sounds like you're already all about. So
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be a part of it, man. I'm happy to be a part. Help the team win games, man.
absolutely. Chris, if you didn't catch it before, Shamar talked about it earlier. He likes to be in the quarterback's pocket, more or less. He likes to be their
Yeah.
best friend. He wants to be friends with them outside the field,
Hmm.
hang out with them, stuff like that, because it's important. You build chemistry, you build a relationship with the quarterback. They're going to look your way because you're their boy, and vice
Right.
versa.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
I
Yep.
already asked you this before, but for Chris, since he just joined us and all other viewers just joining us, is there a current NFL player that you have modeled your game after?
So a current player that I modeled my game. I definitely like because I know we talked about a lot of guys I've watched since I was young. But I'll say
That's true.
currently, Keenan Allen, of course.
Ooh,
A guy like Keenan Allen, just being able to be size and be able to move and run routes and be patient. I really try to watch him a lot. I try to watch a lot of big receivers. So, uh, Mike Evans. I love to watch him, or Mike Williams. A lot of these guys are big. They can move. Go get the ball at the highest point. But I like to watch other guys that can run the slot and run routes and do stuff in the slot and play patient. Brandon Marshall's always been somebody that's not playing no more, but it's always been somebody I really try to emulate my game off of. Big guy that can make strong catches, but is really good after the catch. So yeah, man, I just try to take from everybody, and when I get to there, everybody that's been there, I'm trying to, pick from them as well. So just try to bring it and then put it into my own version of it.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So speaking of putting things into your own version of them, if you could choose one coach and their influence on you that was bigger than anybody else throughout your career, who was it and why?
Definitely, because my stepfather was my coach, so I would say him. But because we've already talked about him, I would say because of course him with everything he's done for me on and off the field. I mean, we've already spoke on that. I mean, everything is self-explanatory. So he's had that huge impact. But somebody that's not like family or is family, but not like I would say my receiver coach, Coach Wade, that I've had since 2020 to now. Well, since I left Fort Valley, he's pretty much everything he's taught us was just of course it was football, but it taught us about being a man and just handling your business and being a good husband, a good friend, a good son. And that's why I respect so much about him, because it wasn't just about coming out there and just producing for him, but being a good guy and doing all this stuff. And just when we develop that relationship like that, it's just so you want to run through a wall for him, you want to play for him. So that's like somebody that I'll be close with for the rest of my life. That's my guy, and he calls me all the time, and just man, to make them proud, and it means a lot. So yeah.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Like you said before, it's a big deal to have a coach make an influence in your life, and that's what you want to do eventually as a coach as well. So Chris mentioned thank you as well for all your work, not often said or expressed, but thank you for putting your body on the line for our entertainment. I like
Yeah,
that,
for
Chris.
sure.
That is
Yeah,
awesome, man. That's
I
a good way to
appreciate that.
do that.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
in case you didn't catch that, Chris thanked him for putting his body on the line for our entertainment on Sundays, because quite frankly, that's what these guys are doing. I mean, we all
Yeah,
watch football and we don't really think about the human beings in the game. I mean,
right.
they are really putting their body on the line for our entertainment. So saying
Yeah,
thank you ain't out of the question in my mind. So
yeah,
that's
for
awesome.
sure.
Way to go, Chris. So I'm going to leave you with one more question. I know it's nearing midnight on your side of the world over there.
uh,
So if you were an offensive coordinator and you had to place yourself as a player in the best position to succeed, which offensive philosophy or scheme are you picking and why? Are you going to line up strictly as an X all game long? Are you going to move around
yeah,
and play the slot, play the
yeah.
field, the boundary, in the backfield?
I'm gonna move myself around. That's one thing I think I do bring to the table is I can move around the line of scrimmage. I can get in the slot, the Z, X, wherever you want me to put. I'm very comfortable and I feel good on each side. So I think I would, if I was of course, like looking at myself like as an OC, I'll just move myself around and try to create different matches and matchups and try to do whatever to get myself just put myself in position to get open and whatnot. So I feel good, comfortable playing anywhere on the offense, any receiver position in the slot or whatnot. So that's probably what I'll do is just move myself around.
Gotcha. So one more bonus question. If John Harbaugh comes up to you in week 1 and says, hey, just like last season, we got a bunch of running back injuries. I need you to go back there and carry the ball for me. What are you going to say to him?
Hey, that's my boss, so I can't. That's my boss now, so I can't even say no. I'm like, hey, it is what it is. Whatever I gotta do, I get. If that's what's gotta be, I guess.
Gotcha.
I guess I gotta do whatever with the team, whatever the team needs me to do. I guess that's what I gotta do.
Absolutely. Would you feel comfortable doing that, or would that be something where you'd be like, hey, I'll try it, but I don't know?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm not even gonna lie. Of course, I wouldn't be comfortable because I haven't played running back. But like you said, just like, hey, whatever happens, happens. I just gotta go do it. That's what they
Absolutely.
want you to do. That's what they're telling you to do. That's what people above you are telling you to do. Just gotta go do
That's awesome. I love that mentality. I just wanted to
it.
sneak that one in there because with
Yeah.
all this stuff about Debo right now, I'm just curious how other receivers look at that. But a little bit
Oh yeah.
different situation. Obviously, Debo's quite established in San Francisco. You're starting
Yeah.
out, so you're
Oh
kind of
yeah.
on the other end of that. So I definitely understand that.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
anyway, I'm going to let you get out of here, man. Thank you so much for joining me, Shemar. It really means a lot, dude. I like literally cannot wait to see you play in preseason and hear all the
Oh yeah.
updates about how you're balling out in camp and making waves, because I know it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time.
Yes, sir.
I would love it if after the season or when you get some free time, maybe bye week,
Mm.
although that's asking a lot. I would love for you to come back on and check
Oh
out,
yeah.
check in with us, and
Yeah.
we'll see where you're at, how things are going, stuff like
Hmm.
that. But whenever's clever, I'm in no rush. I really appreciate you coming on, man. Like, I really can't tell you how much that means to me.
Yeah.
Guys like you coming on here with me is letting me chase my dreams, so it means
Oh
the
yeah.
world to me.
Yeah, I appreciate you for having me, man. Like I said, I'm just getting this position where I'm getting people to hit me up about, different things, and a lot of people and fans that welcome me to the Baltimore. I mean, it means a lot to me, and to have you on, have me on here. So definitely, man. Whenever it's some free time, I love that we could do a part 2, man. We can run it back. So that'd be
Awesome.
cool.
Awesome. I appreciate
Yes,
that,
sir.
man. So once again, Shemar Sho Time Bridges, man, you're
Sir.
so awesome. I cannot wait to see you play. Like I said, thank you for coming on. Have a great
Sir.
rest of your night, and I'll let you get
Appreciate
out
it.
of here before the clock hits midnight.
All right. Appreciate it.
Have a
Have a
good
good
one,
night.
man. Later. So once again, Shemar Bridges. I was watching highlights of him going around doing my research this morning, and it was like the more I was watching about his career, I was getting hyped up to see him play. And it's like, I'm often an eternal optimist, so I always want to see these guys succeed because I truly believe that they're all great players in one way or another. But at the same time, this guy, I mean, he works his ass off. He really doesn't seem to ever, like do anything ill-mannered or like make a bad choice or rational choice. He just puts his head down and works. And I mean, I personally identify with that quite a bit, because at the end of the day, I mean, you just want to do your job. You want to be the best you can be at what you're doing. And that's what Shemar is doing. He's out there chasing his dreams, trying to be the best player he can be and the best man he can be outside of that. And that's something I feel we can all get behind. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I'm going to leave you guys with the rest of that highlight video that I began watching earlier with you all. Now that we don't have Shemar here anymore, who cares if you can hear me talk or not? So here's his highlights once again. I'll probably play one more video after this, and then I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a great night. I appreciate all the support. Everybody who came on here, Chris, Big A, Brittany, I really appreciate all your comments. I hope you stick with us in the future. Go ahead, hit the like button, subscribe. It means a lot to me, all your support. Honestly, it does. Help me get pushed out there in front of other viewers like yourselves. So the next time I bring an interview on here, we can have all kinds of comments rolling in for them, because I personally think it makes them feel a little bit better coming on here with me, a guy who's only got 150 subscribers. Brittany, thank you. Literally, I appreciate you guys coming on. It means a lot to me. So I'm going to get out of here. Like I said, we'll leave you with some highlights of Shemar once again. This guy certainly fits the nickname Sho Time.
I wanted to make sure you were at your best so you understood where I was at my game at the time, to where I know you coming and I'm still going to beat you.
Yeah. We in the championship. We was down 3-1. Yeah. Philly. Champions of the United States. Yeah. Turn me up, Cruz. Bombing on any of them that want to smoke. This a big boy phantom, this ain't a ghost. Had to take away from them, and then they toast. They ain't had no sympathy for me when I was broke. Amen, amen. Lord forgive me for all my sins. Took so many risks just to get a Benz. Pray for my nigga, all my friends. In the trenches, one with killers, we been getting it in. 32 shots in my new Glock. Niggas wanna hit me like I'm Tupac.
Caught by Bridges, touchdown, Fort Valley State.
Remember when I spent my re-up on a hoop pop pop? Your favorite rapper, a mumble rapper. Walk up in this a bunch of killers and humble trappers. I can go to Hollywood to core in this jungle action. When that'll smoke, you go and murder your
Shemar Bridges just bosses two defenders. That's a first down.
Big dog. Streets say they need that dope, they having withdrawals. I put on my yellow diamonds when I'm pissed off. I'm so rich that I can't even draw. Whoa. Do you know the feeling? Being agitated cause you got a can of million. All this money, I ain't got no time for chillin'. We took risks to live like this, do all that killing and drug dealing. You my God, what you we on
first down at the sideline. Bridges continues his strong play. Another catch out of the 45-yard line.
I heard your daddy was a rat, so you a fucking mouse. Pouring champagne cause all my dead. They ain't in the graveyard, then they in the feds. I give a fuck if that crown heavy, put it on my head. Take it to the jeweler, bust it down before I wear it. Cause I'm a king just like Martin Luther. I ain't a hater, my I salute you. I be flying jet and chopper like that was Uber. We finally made it out them tripping, hallelujah, whoa. Ballin' like a hot boy. Diamond dancing on me more than Jeffrey Block, boy. I'm a boss, I don't wanna call a shots, boy. You a thotty, I won't cuff you like a cop. No way. I just cashed out. How the f you turn a bando to a glass house? How the f you get it to the floor and bail out? Got your favorite Instagram and put her out. Hey, make her touch her toes, make her touch her toes. Run up like a milli off a couple shows. Trapping at the wall, dog, we just in the love of that Chanel, they gon' sell their souls. Rolling through the gutter, I ain't never bold. You would think this Wheel of Fortune, how we selling hoes.
Bridges, just one more time, catches this one, breaks one tackle, breaks another, lands right inside the 5. That sets up a field goal. Fort Valley State up 23-3.
Third shot extension in that Glock, boy, that's work. You get popped with no twerk. We tryna make that machine break. Shoot them out that fan like a teammate. We used to trap it by the green gate. 80, baby, that could crack up in my DNA. Oh, scary hours. Walk outside and live, they gon' let confetti shower. You know what it was when you heard they let me out of here. Living like the plug, nigga, I ain't selling powder, no way. Big bag, talkin' Santa Claus. Got 3 hoes out that Molly ripping panties off. Flying private to Dubai, we up them Zanny bars.
Catch made.
Scary hours, turn the
And
cameras
looks
off,
like he was
please.
close to the first, maybe a little short of Shemar Bridges. Bush right there on the tackle. Wildcats have all 3 timeouts remaining here in this first half. They go for Bridges, and he's able to bring it in. Bridges with the reception, and he's hyped up trying to get the rest of the team hyped up.
If you're still watching, don't forget to hit the like button. It really means a lot to all of us YouTubers. It pushes us out to the algorithm and tells YouTube you liked our video and helps us get more views. Got one more for you guys. If you were on earlier, you already watched this one, but it's just so good, why not watch it again? This was during the 2021 season, the spring season. So obviously the Fort Valley State ended up having to cancel their 2020 season. They pushed off 2 games to the 2021 spring season, and this was his 2-game stretch in which he put up 13 receptions for 301 yards, 1 touchdown. Not 1 touchdown. I think it was 4 touchdowns. Don't quote me on that. But he was dominant. Garage to Track, my good buddy Daniel, says that damn like button, we must worship it. Isn't that the truth? If you're still here with me, I just really want to shout all you guys out. Seriously, I wouldn't be doing this if it weren't for you people watching still, so I appreciate it. You've been with me for almost an hour and a half at this point, and you're still watching. Seriously, it goes out to you guys that I'm even here. So if you haven't done so already, like Garage to Track said, hit that damn like button. We must worship it. Well, if you're a YouTuber, because it pushes us out to other viewers like yourselves that might like football or Shemar Bridges. If you're a fan of Shemar Bridges, hit like on this. Let's push him out to more people, if nothing else, because obviously he's a great player. He belongs in the NFL, whether it's with Baltimore or another team, although I have a hunch John Harbaugh, who loves to keep undrafted free agents, is going to see something in Shemar Bridges, who just made that tackle. Garage to Track once again. Daniel says, I jumped in late, but I enjoyed it. I appreciate that, Daniel. Thanks for popping in. I know football is not exactly your first choice of entertainment, but that's okay. If you like cars and racing, check out Garage to Track. All one word, no spaces. Search that on YouTube right now for me. I appreciate that. Especially if you like Hondas. Also, go check out his merchandise. He's got some pretty sweet shirts, phone cases, mugs. Basically, if you want it, he's got it. Thanks, buddy. I try. Truly, though, it's these players that keep it entertaining. I'm lucky to be able to tell their story. Once again, thank you guys all for sticking with me. I appreciate it. I'm going to hop off of here. I'm going to do my obligatory sponsor plugs for the last 5 minutes. Feel free to jump off now if you want. That's okay. If you want to hang out for the ads, I appreciate you. You're gentleman and scholar. But I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I hope you enjoyed this one. I certainly did. Shemar was the first current NFL player I've had on the channel, hopefully far from the last, and I fully intend to have him back. He is just an awesome guy, and I'm rooting for him. I may not be a Baltimore Ravens fan, but I might have to cop a number 17 Shemar Bridges jersey as soon as they come out, just because he's such a good dude. But that's all I've got for you guys tonight. Once again, this is Sam Shady of Shady Sports Network. Start getting all your football news here, because we're covering all the leagues: NFL, CFL, FCF, IFL, NAL, everything, USFL, and we will be covering XFL as well next year. Like I said in another one of my videos, we're going to have year-round football coverage, and soon to cover other sports. If you like wrestling, MMA, maybe even racing, we got things coming for you in the future. Keep an eye out. This is Sam with Shady Sports Network. I wanted to take a moment out and thank the sponsors that are helping keep this channel going. In case you haven't caught it, Shady Sports Network has teamed with SeatGeek to provide you with our very own discount code SAMSHADY. Using this code at checkout will save you $20 on every purchase. Whether you're attending a football game, concert, or other sporting event, chances are SeatGeek will offer the best deals for the event you are hoping to attend. Big shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video and all my other content on YouTube, as well as the articles I write. Companies like this are helping channels like mine grow and continue to progress as content creators, in turn helping you bring more consistent and better content. So please go check out SeatGeek today, and remember to use my code SAMSHADY at checkout to save $20. Also helping sponsor channel is eBay Sports. eBay Sports is your one-stop shop for all things sports. Whether you're after trophies, collectibles, apparel, or more, it's sports related. Go check out my special link in the description below to help support Shady Sports Network in our quest to continue growing and providing you with more sports coverage and better quality content in the future. Amazon Music is yet another partner of Shady Sports Network. I personally have been using Amazon Music for several years due to the fact that it does not require you to have solid service to listen to the music that you want to listen to. This was particularly useful in my past career, where I was working inside a warehouse 12 to 16 hours a day, depending on the day. This kept me sane for many years because I was able to listen to the music that I wanted to without interruption in a place that was otherwise very, very boring if I didn't have the music. So once again, click on my link below in the description to join Amazon Music and find all the benefits that you can find on that app in particular. I personally have several music apps, but Amazon Music is my go-to because of the fact that you do not need the service. You don't get interrupted when you're in the middle of a song. It doesn't just cut out because you randomly lose service when you're walking around a building, which drives me nuts. But on to our last sponsor of the day, and this is less a sponsor, more an app I just support and happens to provide cash back to those who support it. Get Upside is an app that I have been touting for a while because it will quite literally pay you cash back to purchase gas at participating gas stations. The app is extremely user-friendly and points you to the nearest deal and lists out several so you can find the most cash back. This app is great for those who travel often, but still useful for those city drivers who don't drive too far from home, because at the end of the day, it's cumulative. So you can't actually take cash back until you hit $10 without taking a fee, but you add up $10 so fast it's not even funny. I think you basically build up $10 off like 2 or 3 fill-ups, and you take that cash and it immediately goes in your account within 2 to 3 days typically, and there are no catches, none whatsoever. There's no reason why you shouldn't be using this app at this point in time. It saves you money, puts money back in your pocket. It can be used at gas stations, grocery stores, restaurants, and several other things are coming down the pike in ways that I'm not even familiar with at the moment. You can use my code SAM363682 to help support Shady Sports Network today and earn yourself some extra cash back on your first purchase. This is one of those things where if you use this app and you use my code, for every gallon of gas you purchase, you're actually going to be continuing to support the channel. And this is not only helpful to me, but hopefully if you stick with us and you watch the videos that come out following this, you'll only continue to see an improvement in quality of this content, and hopefully see more content coming down the pike. Unfortunately, at this particular point, this is not a full-time position for me, but as this starts to grow and gain an audience, I'm looking to transition this into a bigger part of my life. I would love to have you guys on board. So do me a favor, check out these 4 sponsors that are doing everything they can to help keep Shady Sports Network afloat and keeping us produce content for you guys in the future. Again, check out Get Upside, Amazon Music, eBay Sports, and SeatGeek today to help support Shady Sports Network. Now, back to the content.